Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Welcome back to the free-to-play series. Guys, the event dungeon will be gone in about 6 days, and if you haven't already, you should definitely farm this dungeon. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe, and now let's get back to the video. So, why is it so important to farm this dungeon? Because of the pinpoint set. And the reason for that is that you can get two of the best stats in the game, especially early on, just from accessories. There are not many sets that have accessories, and pinpoint is actually one of them, and you can actively farm it. All the other sets that have accessories you can only get from Curse City or Hydra. You have to wait for the reset to get the rewards. I mean, you can kind of actively farm it, but you know what I mean. You can't just farm them infinitely. You have to wait for the resets. You're kind of limited to what you get, and you have to get lucky, but that's always the case. But for this set, you can actually farm it as much as you like. And I still feel like a lot of players are underestimating the power of just 2 pieces of pinpoint on your champions. Because if you just use a ring and the amulet from the pinpoint set, it will improve the builds on your champions a lot. Especially early on as a free-to-play player, it's so hard to get speed. Accuracy is not so hard anymore, but still, if you get that extra 20 accuracy just from one ring or amulet, it can already change your build and you can focus more on other stats, for example damage, and not worry about accuracy that much. But 10% speed is actually a lot. Not only early on, also in the end game, 10% speed can make a huge difference. In Arena, for example, almost everybody is using a pinpoint ring and a pinpoint amulet to get that extra 10% speed to go first, to improve the speed on your speed boosters, right? So there's a great value of this 2-piece set bonus because speed is not that easy to get. Now for early game players, this is also extremely valuable because it's so hard to hit certain speeds, especially when you're trying to hit some speeds for certain clan boss compositions. I remember when I built my first Ultra Nightmare unkillable team, I had to use my best speed gear so I can hit the speeds that were necessary for the composition to work. And I think with the pinpoint set, this gets way easier. 10% speed is most of the time like 10 speed, and 10 speed can be really a lot. It can be that missing piece in order to make your composition work, but also for your arena booster. Let's take my Haikatoon for example. Now I didn't rank her up yet, but she's level 40, right? Level 40 and 253 speed. Now if I would get her to rank 6, her base speed would go up to 104, so she would already get a little bit more speed. Then if I would get, masteries for her Lore of Steel, she would get more speed from the set bony. That would add some speed. Then I can glyph the artifacts, which I kind of did, but you're also limited to the glyphs you can use that early on because you can't really farm every high stage of the faction wars. But still, every extra speed is worth it. And as you can see, I actually farmed the event dungeon a healthy amount. And sometimes you get lucky and you get a very good piece like this one, which is a pinpoint banner. Now, unfortunately, it's a 5-star banner, but still, it has speed on it already. I rolled it twice. Maybe I can hit it another time, but even if not, I can already get another 12 speed on my Haikatoon, which would bring her to 265. And let's say I would just use this ring on her, right? And then I would put that banner on her, but I can't really. But as you can see here, it would up the speed by 22. And that would bring her to like 275 speed, just because I have this ring and this banner, which is pinpoint. Now, if I didn't have that pinpoint banner, let's say you have a 6-star banner with a speed roll. As you can see, this one actually has 12 speed as well, right? It's a 6-star banner with just 1 speed roll, but it has the same amount of speed as this 5-star banner with 2 speed rolls. So this might be actually better if I hit it one more time. What I'm trying to say is, even if I just use this ring and another pinpoint amulet, I will get 10 speed. And these extra 10 speed are so valuable, they're so hard to come by and very easy to get. All you need is 2 accessories. Doesn't matter what stats they have. You don't really care for a speed booster, what kind of stats your accessories have. Sometimes you do, but in this case, you really don't, because you want to get that extra speed. So even if I had 4-star accessories here, I would still use them because of the extra speed. I would lose some stats because I'm not using 6-star accessories, but I don't really care because I want my arena speed booster to be as fast as possible. And that is why it is so valuable to have pinpoint accessories. Also, they are easier to get from the event dungeon. They drop way more often than the artifacts. The pinpoint artifacts are pretty rare, and it's also not that easy to get good pinpoint artifacts because they have to have a speed substat in order to be good. But for the accessories, it doesn't really matter. For the ring and the amulet, it doesn't really matter what stats they have. All you care about is that extra speed from that 2-piece set bonus. And now on top of that, it's also a really, really solid option. If you get to a 4-piece set bonus here, you get an intercept stack, which will block a single attempt of a crowd control debuff, such as sheep, stun, sleep, provoke, whatever, right? The most, annoying thing in arena is if a champion has a sheep blessing, because this can really throw you off, even if you're in a good position and you have the advantage and you go first, but then you get sheeped and it kind of throws your whole strategy off and you lose. And this intercept stack can actually prevent that, and you can avoid to be sheeped, for example. Now, if we take a look at the event calendar, the event dungeon is going to stay live until the 5th of March, and then we don't know when it's going to come back. So the last event dungeon was during the Asgard event, which was taking place in like November, December last year, and then we had this Alice event dungeon starting from January, if I remember correctly. So there's like a 1 or 2 month break in between those event dungeons, but we don't know if the next one is going to take longer or when the next one is going to come. We don't know yet, right? So you kind of want to invest a healthy amount of energy into the event dungeon to get a good amount of pinpoint accessories and artifacts, but especially accessories for different factions, so you kind of have them ready to go as soon as you pull or want to build one of those champions from specific factions. You have those accessories ready to go, especially if you're participating in the free-to-play challenge right now, because as soon as the challenge is going to end, that's where most likely the next event dungeon is going to start, so you won't have a chance to farm a pinpoint anymore until the end of the challenge. So that's why you should definitely farm it, but even if you're not participating in the challenge, it's still worth it to invest some energy in it. And right now is actually the best time to do it, because we also have this Queen's Fury tournament where you also get something in return for farming this dungeon. Now, I wouldn't go all in and invest all my energy into the event dungeon. You don't have to go all out and use all your gems. It's good enough if you have like couple rings, couple banners, and couple amulets for each faction. That is totally enough. So as you can see, I have a couple of accessories for each faction. For some, like the Sylvan Watchers, I have more, but that's just RNG. As long as you have a couple of rings and couple of amulets, you're good to go. And also, you don't need to farm very high stages. It's already enough if you can farm like stage 16 like I do. This will cost you 14 energy. Yes, you have a chance to get 4-star artifacts and accessories, but it doesn't really matter because all you're trying to get here is pinpoint accessories. You want to have rings and amulets, ready to go. And if you get lucky and you get a 6-star legendary banner, or even a 5-star with speed on it, or a 5 or 6-star legendary pinpoint artifact with speed on it, or a speed boots, this will benefit your account in a significant way. And it's also not hard to farm stage 16, as the boss and the minions are very squishy. As you can see, I kind of just try to nuke the boss and the minions here with decreased defense, and then have a couple of nukers here, and I'm doing this stage in like 30 seconds. But it can also definitely be way faster. Now, if you can farm stage 20, which would be the best scenario, because it costs you 16 energy, but you only get 5 to 6-star artifacts and accessories. So you will complete the event dungeon tournament way faster and with less energy, because the energy point ratio is pretty much 1-to-1, then you should definitely do it. Stage 20 is also not that hard, but for me, at the moment, I cannot farm it on auto. I could probably beat it, but I could not farm it on auto, so that's why I'm not doing it. If you can, you should definitely go for it. And I think from stage 26, you actually get a chance on mythical accessories and artifacts. So that's also pretty interesting. Now, I wouldn't use the pinpoint accessories on every single champion. For example, on Morag, I'm not using pinpoint because I don't have the fitting stats. So for some specific champions, the stats actually matter. If you're trying to do damage, for example, if you're gearing up a damage dealer and you would lose a lot of stats, then it doesn't really make sense to put the pinpoint accessories on them, unless you're trying to hit a certain speed for a specific composition to make it work. Then it's a different story. But in this scenario for Morag, it wouldn't make sense to use any of my pinpoint gear. Now, I could use this crit damage amulet that I have here, but as you can see, I don't really have a good ring. I would lose a lot of defense here from this ring, and this would result in Morag not doing as much damage, even if I get another 10 speed. Now, if I had a 5 or 6-star defense ring from the pinpoint set, I would probably consider it, because then it would make sense. I wouldn't lose too many stats, and then the extra 10 speed would make sense. But in most cases, it's so valuable. As you can see here on my cold heart, I just throw this pinpoint ring on, and I instantly have plus 20 accuracy. Now I can also, just use this 4-star pinpoint banner at some point, as soon as I rank her up, and get another 12 speed. She's already good with accuracy. If I, glyph some of her artifacts and get the masteries, she has enough accuracy for most of the content that I'm trying to do right now. So it makes it so much easier for me to build this champion, and also allows me to put her in a savage set. I think Cold Heart is a great example where the pinpoint accessories really help you to build the champion. Pretty much any champion that is relying on placing their debuffs or having accuracy will benefit from the pinpoint accessories a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'm definitely gonna dump in a lot more energy into the event dungeon. I feel like I want to complete this tournament and get the Immortal Soul Stone, because the Soul Stones are so valuable. If you hit a soul for one of your champions, they can really help a lot. And if you're lucky enough, you can actually get another one from this gold chest here, so that's pretty valuable. If you haven't farmed the event dungeon yet, I would definitely advise you to do so as much as you can. Don't go all in. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something, and see you in the next one.